They are here. It's finally happening. On Friday, February 26, 2021, there was a Pokemon Presents that announced Diamond and Pearl remakes. I'm here to give my thoughts on it, but be sure to check out the full presentation. I'll link it below so you can go give them the support, give them the views. This is just commentary. So a lot of the footage you'll see in here is from that, protected by copyright law in U.S. Code Title 17. I can show all this stuff because I am news reporting and giving commentary on it. But go check out the original presentation as well. But first, before we get into the actual commentary and the presentation, let me give my history in Pokemon. Some of you know it, some of you don't, so I'll try and make this quick, but kind of give you where I am and where I stand with all the Pokemon stuff. So, I actually started playing Pokemon around when Emerald came out, but my first game was actually Pokemon Red. And so I started at the beginning, I was just late to the party. Then I got Fire Red, and then Emerald, and then for my 13th birthday, I got a Nintendo DS and Pokemon Diamond, about a year after its original release. So, Pokemon Red was my first game, and I played it for quite a while, and I had a lot of fun with it. Then Fire Red, then Emerald, and then finally Diamond. And that was when I got super into Pokemon. I started watching the anime, I started collecting trading cards, although I never really played the full game. I didn't quite understand it, and never really had the push to get into it or the friends to play it with. All the friends that I had just played the video games. And then I got into Pokemon Battle Revolution for the Wii. And soon after that, I got Heart Gold and Pokemon Platinum. And Heart Gold is still, to this day, my favorite Pokemon game. I even got a little Ho-Oh figure and a little Giratina figure when I got those games that came with them. I actually have them here on my desk, right in front of me right now. I actually took them out of the closet, found them a few months ago, which you'll see why I got back into Pokemon. And they've been sitting on my desk. They're cool. They're only about an inch and a half. About 2 inches tall, maybe 2.5 inches. But anyway, later on I got Pokemon Black and then Black 2, and these games were definitely my least favorite so far at the time. And so my hype sort of started to fall a little bit. And then when X and Y came out, because of that, I just wasn't convinced to buy a whole new console just to continue Pokemon. So I kind of had a falling out with Pokemon at that point after Black 2. And when X and Y came out. So I got into Pokemon Go actually a little bit later when it first came out. But not for super long. I didn't even survive into the point where Gen 2 Pokemon were released in the game. But I enjoyed it for the time I had it. With my favorite Pokemon being Charizard, I wanted to get some Charmanders. Then I saw he had to get all the candies, and it was a lot. And so I never really stuck with it. I actually still have it on my phone. I just haven't logged in forever. But it was kind of cool, I guess. A really cool concept of using AR. Anyway, this past year, I played Pokemon Gold for the first time. I've had it for a while, but I just never played it. I think a friend gave it to me. And at the time, I wasn't into Pokemon, but I liked collecting things. So I still have my original Pokemon Red and the original Pokemon Gold. And so I played that for the first time. I had already played Heart Gold. But I also, within the past year, bought a used 3DS and Pokemon Y and Alpha Sapphire. And so I played those for the first time within this past year. And honestly, they don't feel as good as the Pokemon of old, but they were fun, and I enjoyed them. And now I'm currently playing through Pokemon Moon for the first time. So I don't currently own a Switch, so Moon is the newest game I've played, and I'm currently playing, and I'll probably get Ultra Sun to get the different version, just so I can play through that as well. But I don't currently own a Switch at the time of this recording. But now let's move on to what you came here for. That's the general idea of where I came from in my past, my history in Pokemon. But I know you came here for my commentary on this video. So first, I just want to do a little quick note about the timeline at the beginning of the video. That was really cool, and I liked it a lot. It was cool just going through all the stuff and a lot of memories. And then the newer stuff, I was like, oh, I didn't even know that's a thing. Or, oh, okay, that's what that game looked like. And the features that it came with. Obviously, I knew what they looked like, just not the features. But anyway, I just want to quickly touch on the timeline. Go watch the whole thing. It's really cool. Alright, so I'll quickly talk about Pokemon Snap. I never played the original Snap, but man, seeing this trailer really made me want to try it out, this new version. The graphics were really cool, and I love the zoo-style games like Zoo Tycoon, Zoo Planet. And this really gave me vibes similar to the old days of me playing Zoo Tycoon 2, when you go into Zookeeper mode. And I don't know, I know it's obviously not like that, you're on a track the whole time, but it just gave me those vibes. And researching seems really cool, and taking pictures is cool too, I guess. I know that's the whole point of the game, but to me that's the least interesting part. But the nighttime at the park seemed really cool too, and I can't believe I'm excited for this game, but I might actually get it. So that's Pokemon Snap. Okay, so it's time to talk about Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Honestly, I am super hyped for these games. You just heard me talk about how Pokemon Diamond was, well, I guess you didn't hear this. Pokemon Diamond was my first new Pokemon game. The other ones I had, I bought used or were given to me from family. Pokemon Red was a gift from a family member. Fire Red was a gift from a family member. Emerald was the first one I bought, but it was bought used. And so Diamond was the first game I got new where there was no previous player data on it. I started straight from the beginning and didn't like play a little bit and then restart, which is what I did on the previous ones. Diamond was brand new. And so I was super excited about that. So that's why I'm super hyped for these games. And in the trailer, like we didn't know exactly what was going to happen yet, but then they zoomed in on the DS and that music started. That happens when you first boot up Pokemon Diamond or Pearl. I got lost at it. I was like, I knew immediately what it was. And it immediately brought me back to memories of playing my DS late at night or in the back of my parents' vehicles when we were on road trips, whether it was, I think at the time my dad had the Jeep Patriot, my mom had, I think we were still in the van. Yeah, because I wasn't driving yet. We were still in the van. So it just brings me back to those memories, which was really cool. So I know what y'all are here to hear about, not just me reminiscing on memories, but my thoughts on these new games. So what do I think about the art style? There was a lot of controversy about this, but I love it. The large-headed overworld sprites, also known as chibis, and full-body battle sprites, I'm all for it. It pays respects to the original Gens 1 through 5 art style, which, what you just heard in my history, that's what I played. And I kind of stopped after Gen 5, but that was the art style. You'd have the chibi in the overworld, and then you'd go into like the battle scene, and it'd be a full-size character. So I actually prefer it to the Gen 6 and 7 art style. So there's that. What about the names? Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. I like them. I don't love them. I do like how the shapes of the letters B and T in Brilliant are sharp, and the letters S and G in Shining are round to assist in making Diamond's logo sharp and Pearl's logo round. I'll have that up on the screen right now so you can kind of see what I mean by that, because Diamonds are usually cut to be sharp, and Pearls obviously are spherical, so they're round. And they even kept the font from the originals, which is cool. Again, you can see that on the screen as I compare it to the original Diamond logo and the original Pearl logo. But other than that, the names don't stand out, but I think they are fitting. Brilliant Diamonds and Shining Pearls describes the gems. I don't think Pearl's actually a gem, though. It's something created from a clam. But you get the idea. Or an oyster. I don't remember. I'm sorry. I should have probably checked into that. But either way, you get the idea. And also, talking about the footage again, when he said they were faithful remakes, that got me even more excited, because I don't know if I've talked about it on here before, but I think I talked about it on the podcast of like what I wanted out of like the Lion King remake, for it to be a scene for scene, frame for frame remake where everything is exactly the same but in live action, which obviously they didn't do. So if they do that with the Diamond and Pearl remakes, I'm cool with that. I like that. I don't think anything extra actually needs to be added to make the remakes in order for them to be good. They can just do 1-to-1 copies with better graphics and I'll be happy. But I do think that they will add a bit more. And actually, what I kind of do hope for, I know what I just said that contradicts it, but I kind of do hope they add in some platinum stuff. Even if it's just like post-game stuff, which can't happen if it's an exact platinum remake, but you know what I mean. Like add in like the whole distortion world thing. That was so cool in platinum. If they add in that, I'll be cool too. But I'm not opposed to it being a 1-to-1 remake otherwise. It was also stated that the scale of everything was carefully preserved, so I assume that means like the number of steps between everything is the same as the originals, so that's actually really cool too. The other thing is the games are being made by Ilka Inc., ILCA Incorporated, so it is kind of weird that Game Freak isn't making them, but at least Masuda, who was the director of the original Diamond and Pearl, is heavily involved. He's one of the directors, so that kind of put any reservations there to rest that he's involved, and he is not just involved, but he's one of the 2 directors, so that is a good thing. But overall, I am super hyped for this game, and I cannot wait to play through Pokemon Diamond again, but on a new console with new graphics. So you can tell I'm excited for this. Okay, so I'm sure this one threw everyone for a loop, but but another story awaits. When it popped up on the screen, I had no idea what to expect. And I gotta say, I was absolutely surprised. And Pokemon Legends Arceus is something that I did not expect at all. A very different, although very cool art style, and a very different, yet very cool new concept for a Pokemon game. A prequel, but not just a direct prequel. A game taking place way in the past. I'm totally down for that. And to have a game on that topic taking place in the past, to have the first one be about Arceus, and be set in Sinnoh, I think that's a great idea. Also, a lot of people sometimes will say Arceus. I've kind of always called it Arceus because to me I was like Arceus, archaic. It kind of makes sense. So, but they kind of confirmed it in the way they were talking. They called it Pokemon Legends Arceus. But sorry about the little tangent. It's Arceus, not Arceus, because Arceus archaic. Anyway, I think having it set in Sinnoh and about Arceus, yeah, that's what I was saying. Being set in Sinnoh and about Arceus makes sense because of the lore and kind of how the creation trio being made by Arceus, where in the Pokemon universe, Arceus is the main deity. Arceus is essentially God and created the creation trio, Pokemon, Diamond. I can't even talk. I'm so excited. Let me say that again. Arceus created Dialga, Palkia, and Giratina to help him create the world and the universe, the Pokemon universe. I think it totally makes sense for that to be the first Pokemon Legends game, because I do think there's going to be more Legends games. I think it's a great idea for it to be Sinnoh. So yeah, like I just said, Legends games, I hope there's more in the future. I'd love for there to be one about Hoenn and maybe even Unova with Kyurem being like the main thing. But a Johto/Kanto one. I don't think Kanto... I love Kanto. Kanto is my favorite region. Kind of almost tied with Sinnoh. But like my favorite Pokemon are Kanto Pokemon when it comes to full rosters. But I don't think you can have a standalone Legends game set in Kanto. But Johto and Kanto together, now that would be an awesome Legends game. I think it's an awesome step forward for Pokemon, the Legend games, and I'm super excited for the idea. I like the idea of random starters from other regions, too. That was cool. Cyndaquil, Rowlet, and Oshawott. It's like, what? But actually, it totally makes sense if the professor is traveling all around the world to other regions before coming to Sinnoh. It makes sense that they would all just be starters from other regions. And I absolutely love the idea of building the first Sinnoh Pokedex. I think that's such a cool concept. Some people love like multiplayer and the idea of battling in Pokemon, but for me, there's always two things that made a Pokemon great. One, going to beat the Elite Four, or beating all the gyms to beat the Elite Four to beat the champion. And two, finishing the Pokedex. I never really cared about competitive play. I actually don't like competitive play in Pokemon. It's not fun in my opinion. I know some people love it and some people hate me for saying that, but this is like what makes a game good. Building the Pokedex, the story, that's what I'm here for in a Pokemon game. So I love that idea, and I think that is really cool. And people are upset it's not multiplayer. No, I like that it's not multiplayer, because then they could focus more on the story, focus more on the Pokedex side of things. If your goal is to build the Pokedex, then I better go through and find every single Pokemon. So super excited for that. And the fact that there's only one game, not two games like Sword and Shield or Gold and Silver or Red and Blue or Red and Green or whatever, tells me that there's not going to be region exclusives, which is nice. Or, version exclusives, which is nice. So we'll be able to see everything there, especially if our goal is to build the first Pokedex. So I'm excited for that. And also the fact that we're finally getting an open world RPG Pokemon game. I've wanted that ever since I was a kid. Like, I remember playing Pokemon for the first time. Like I said, Pokemon Red. And then shortly after, Fire Red and Emerald. And then having a PlayStation 2 and thinking, what if this was like available on PlayStation 2? Or playing games like The Hobbit on PlayStation 2 and then the Lord of the Rings games. And several other games from movies. But just being this character, you can walk around in 3D space, you can jump. I just imagined like, oh, you have the triggers. Your triggers would be your moves, so your 4 moves for your Pokemon. And then like you can have your Pokemon that you throw out and it'd be live action, or not live action, like in real time. I didn't know terms RPG and open world as a kid, but this is what I was thinking of. And so I've always wanted that. And I think this is the right way to do it. I don't know how well this would work with a mainline, regular, traditional Pokemon game, but I think the idea of this, like being out in the wild, trying to catch the first Pokemon and building the first decks, without it being like going through cities and stuff. I assume there will be other towns other than when you start in, but it's not like everything's big cities. I think this is a perfect way to do it, and I'm super excited for it. I also love that Arceus is somehow involved, and it was very cryptic in the trailer of, or not cryptic. Cryptic would mean there's some type of code, but very mysterious, I'll say, in the trailer of we don't really know how he's involved yet. But the Sinnoh legendaries and lore are my favorite of all the generations. Like I said, when it comes to the complete roster, Gen 1 is my favorite. When it comes to the lore and the legendaries, Gen 4 Sinnoh is my favorite. So I'm super excited for it. Also, the archaic wooden Pokeballs, you saw them in the trailer, but it was mentioned that they're made of wood on the website. I think that's a really cool touch. And, one other thing. Someone pointed out that the logo on the player character's sleeves looks an awful lot like the Team Galactic logo. I'll put up comparisons now on the screen. So I don't know if there's much more to that, if it's a coincidence. I don't really think it is. Someone did point out that the kanji means galactic, so that's also interesting. I haven't checked into that. I don't know a lot of kanji right now, but I do think that's interesting. And that could be really interesting for the story. Is this like somehow before Team Galactic was formed or as it's being formed? What does this all mean? So that's interesting, and I'm very excited to see how that goes. But I think I'll leave it there. So there's my opinion on the newly announced games. I am super hyped, super excited, and here it is. 2021 will be the year that I finally buy a Nintendo Switch. So you can definitely expect more Pokemon content from me in the future on this channel. And with that, I'll leave it. Don't forget to check me out on YouTube if you're watching on BitChute, on BitChute if you're watching on YouTube, and then no matter what, on Gab, Parler, and Minds, just look for @Aquafan. Thank you, everybody, and have an awesome, awesome day.